You sit down to study with motivation, but you start wondering how much of it will actually stay in your memory later. At first, everything feels easy, clear, and smooth, and you believe you understand the material perfectly well. But soon, confusion starts creeping in, and the information you learned begins to feel less stable. Then frustration appears, and you suddenly realize that most of what you studied is already fading away. So you try harder again, believing more effort will fix everything, even though the problem is deeper. But time is quietly working against you, slowly reducing what your brain holds unless you act differently. Your brain naturally tries to save energy by keeping only what it thinks is truly important. Everything else gets marked as less useful and gradually starts disappearing from your memory over time. That is why information you don't review slowly fades away, even if you understood it once. Without revisiting the material, your memory weakens faster than you expect, often within a very short time. This natural process is known as the Ebbinghaus Forgetting Curve, a pattern discovered through memory research. It shows clearly that forgetting happens quickly at first, then slows down as time continues. If you do not review what you learned, your memory retention drops dramatically within the first hours or days. That is why long study sessions alone often fail to create strong long-term memory in learners. Even though you studied hard, it feels like nothing stayed because the brain did not reinforce it. But the important thing is that forgetting is not random. It follows a predictable and scientific pattern. Once you understand this pattern, you can start working with your brain instead of fighting against it. The curve actually gives you a powerful advantage if you learn how to use it correctly. By reviewing information at the right moments, you can significantly slow down the forgetting process. Each review strengthens your memory, making the information more stable and easier to recall later. That is why repetition is so powerful, especially when it is spaced out over time properly. Spaced repetition helps your brain decide that the information is important and worth storing long term. Instead of cramming everything at once, you reinforce knowledge gradually through well-timed reviews. Even short breaks between study sessions can dramatically improve how much you remember later. These breaks signal your brain to store the information more deeply instead of discarding it quickly. Over time, you will notice that recalling information becomes easier and much more natural. You stop fighting forgetfulness and instead start using it as part of your learning strategy. This method improves not only short-term recall, but also long-term understanding and retention significantly. You are essentially training your brain, just like a muscle that becomes stronger with consistent practice. The key is not studying more hours, but studying smarter with properly timed repetition. Short, repeated reviews are far more effective than long cramming sessions done only once. Consistency in learning is far more important than intensity when it comes to memory formation. This is the strategy used by high performers who need to remember large amounts of information. They do not try to avoid forgetting. Instead, they design systems that use it to their advantage. By scheduling reviews strategically, they ensure knowledge moves from short-term to long-term memory. As a result, their ability to recall information becomes stronger, faster, and more reliable over time. You can apply the same system starting today and immediately improve your learning efficiency. Use repetition, timing, and simple review methods to dramatically boost how much you retain. When applied correctly, your brain becomes far more efficient at storing and retrieving information. The forgetting curve is no longer your enemy once you understand how to work with it. Instead, it becomes a powerful guide that helps you learn faster, smarter, and more effectively every day.